In this video, I'm going to show you the fastest and most effective way, time-wise, to remove the smell of cigarettes and weed from an apartment. We have these rentals, and I just had my cleaner come in and finish a professional cleaning. And unfortunately, the tenant made the wise decision to smoke cigarettes and weed inside of the apartment. It's very frustrating, but I do need to get it fixed, and I need to get it fixed very fast. I have about 24 hours before my next tenant comes in. So this is what I've done in the past. It's highly effective, and it works really quickly. Your first step, of course, is going to be to thoroughly clean the apartment. We mopped the floors with a Fabuloso and Clorox bleach mix, and that did a lot. And then we also kind of wiped all of the walls as well. So that did a whole bunch as well, but it's not perfect. Of course, your linens will all need to be thoroughly cleaned. You're gonna need to upholstery clean your couch and the mattress. All of those things are done. The problem still persists though, so this is your next and final step. So this little device is called an Ozone Machine, and specifically the brand is Odor Stop. I got the OS 1200 model. They make varying sizes depending on the size of the place that you're trying to remove the odor from. In my situation, this is specifically designed for about a 400 to 600 square foot studio apartment, which is what I have. They make them much larger, and they actually make them a little bit smaller too. I got this specific product on Amazon for about $160. They had a discount, and then that kind of countered the taxes. So my out the door cost was about $160. So these ozone generators, they work so effectively because what they actually do is they will break down the oxygen molecules and turn them into... So what these ozone generators do, and why they're so effective, is that they actually will break down the oxygen molecules into individual atoms, and they'll create ozone, and it will emit that, and it does it in this machine. It's like, this process is called oxidation. And in this oxidation process, it's gonna transfer that molecule. I know it's kind of hard to follow, but it'll transfer that molecule towards the molecule that has the odor in it, and it'll actually change the chemical composition of that. So the result is that the odor, it's no longer the same. It doesn't smell the same at all. So it effectively eliminates it. And this machine, it has a fan in it, so it's gonna circulate that throughout the room, which is why you get the right size based off of what your needs are. These ozone machines are effective for a lot of different types of odors. It is primarily used and known for removing the smell of cigarette smoke or pot smoke. It's also effective in removing the smell of smoke from like soot from a fireplace, or I've even done it for sewage one time, and it was highly effective. Really strong food smells that just kind of saturate the place and you can't get it out. Okay, so what you want to do is find a central location in your property. In my situation, I'm going to be placing the ozone machine just like this. It's pretty central to the room, and also it's close to the bed and to the couch, which is what I'm looking for. Once it's plugged in order to turn it on, and I'm going to have this on for like 24 hours, so you can see that it has a timer. You don't always want to have it on as long as I'm saying I'm going to have mine on for, depending on your situation. You can do it for 2 hours and it's a timer, and it'll automatically turn off, and then you can let the place air out by itself. I'm gonna be putting it on the hold setting though, so that it stays on constantly. Before I turn it on though, I do need to talk about a couple of important warnings. As you can see right here, warning, do not use in occupied spaces. There's a very important reason for that. We talked briefly about how it changes the chemical composition of atoms. It will do that in your body as well, so you have to be very careful. It says right here that excessive ozone concentrations can cause mucous membranes and respiratory irritation. Turn off the dial and ventilate the area after sanitizing to reduce the risk of electrical shock. So you definitely don't want to breathe this in. It's going to severely impact the mucous membrane and linings of your lungs, and especially if you have asthma. I do have asthma. It'll impact you on a higher level than people who don't have it. So you got to be cautious. What you want to do is when you turn it on, you want to have everything in the apartment, in its final state. You want to turn that thing on and get out and close up It's important to make sure that in order for this to be effective, it has to be a closed environment. So make sure your windows and your doors are shut so that it can go through all of the air inside of the apartment and really sanitize it that way. So this is what it's like when you turn it on. I'm gonna put it on that hold setting. And I'm gonna get out of here. I know I have some trash. And I'm gonna turn off my lights and then we'll talk for a second about it. Okay, I'm outside now. So I'm gonna leave this thing running overnight because it's pretty smelly in there. I'll come back. When I come back, it's important that you're aware of what we just talked about. You don't want to breathe this ozone in, and this room is going to be so full of ozone that it's going to be like cloudy inside of the room. So what I'll probably do, last time when I did this, I didn't do this, and that's why I started coughing and stuff. So this time what I'm going to do is I will open up the door, I'll open it and just let it air out for like 10 minutes, and then I'll come back, and then I'll probably immediately go to the windows and open up the windows. I'll go to the air conditioning unit, turn that on full blast, and then I'll just leave those windows and doors open for a couple hours so that it can thoroughly air out. And then once it thoroughly airs out, there's not going to be any more of that odor. Okay, so we'll check back in tomorrow. Okay, it's the next morning. I'm going to go in and we will get this thing turned off and the room aired out. It's going to be cloudy in the room and the ozone is going to be very thick. So I'm going to cover my mouth and I'm going to go in really quickly, turn the machine off. I'll probably just unplug it because that'll be the fastest. And then I'm going to get out real quick, but keep the door open so they can start to air out. So here we go. Wow, it's crazy. I held my breath, and as I'm walking out, I release and I go, huh, and I take a breath, and I can smell it all over my clothes. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave the door open like this and let it air out for a few minutes, and I'll come back. Okay, I got all the windows open. I'm gonna go ahead and go do something else for another hour or two, and I'll come back and this should be aired out. Okay, it's been a couple hours. I'm gonna go ahead and get in and check it out. Okay, I'm walking around. I'm smelling, and guess what I smell? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, and it's exactly what I wanted. The way it used to be was you walk in and it's like you immediately get hit with the smell of being in a bowling alley, or a place where there's just a wall of cigarette smoke or pot smoke, and it just was, the moment you walked in, it hit you. Now there's no odor at all. So it worked really well. My next step is I'm gonna leave this fan on, running on max. I'm gonna take this, pick it up. I'll leave the windows open for a little bit longer and close them at the end of the day. But other than that, everything is great. I hope this video was helpful for you. I wish you luck in your project. Thank you for watching.